perfect place.
Like a box? No, or like.
Call the meeting to order. Roll call.
McKnight,
Here.
Myers,
Here.
Roa,
Here.
Vogel,
Here.
Kinder.
Pledge allegiance to the flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public comment on agenda items?
None?
None. Notice of executive session meetings?
None?
None. Moving along. Approval of minutes.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call.
McKnight,
Aye.
Myers,
Aye.
Roa,
Aye.
Vogel.
Aye.
Communications.
None?
Managers report.
So just two items. First, just a quick update on right to know requests, still at 13 for the year. Still no pricing from Knox either. And so then I'll turn it over to Rena. She's just gonna give a quick update about that housing plan.
Right, so last meeting, I provided that timeline for the kind of adoption and the review and adoption process. So again, Planning Commission received it already at the beginning of this month to have a chance to read through it. Council received it last week, and the Redevelopment Authority also reviewed it and provided feedback at their meeting last week. There were not a lot of substantial feedback that would lead to any major changes in the plan, just a few points of clarification. And I think Mike is taking a picture of me. Okay, thank you. Just, again, some clarification points that I think will just, some word changing and editing, but they were largely in support of it, and, just had some concerns about the ambition of the plan and capacity, but, again, feel pretty confident that this will kind of become my job directive moving forward as far as the RDA is concerned. And so I feel confident that we can create a solid foundation, at least for that plan, throughout this year. And then the Planning Commission will provide their feedback at their March 7th meeting. Then at the March 12th council study session, Peter and I will kind of have synthesized that feedback from the different groups to present to you, and to also for council to have another opportunity for any feedback, revisions, etc. And again, you all can feel free to provide that feedback at any point to us individually. And as far as public, and then March 19th, that would be kind of an opportunity to adopt the plan via resolution if council so desires. And as far as public input is concerned, based on conversation from last week's study session, it sounded like council was pretty pleased with the process of creating the plan and kind of how public facing that was, and the different outreach methods we had during the creation of it. So if desired, we could do some public info sessions, like education awareness around the plan after adoption, to kind of lay out, like, this is what the plan is, this is what this means. Peter and I have already talked with the Housing Coalition to have a chance to present it at their next quarterly roundtable, which I think is in April. So we'll already be doing that, and then we could have other info sessions at that point. So any questions or thoughts on that process?
Not this time.
Any questions?
Is the drafted plan online already for people to see?
We can, would council like to have it online?
Or like a version, even if we don't do a live
Sure.
like, here's an event session, like,
Sure.
we could maybe do like a, here's what's in the
Yeah.
plan that we're
We'll
thinking.
post it online tonight.
Okay. So it'll be online, and so people can see it.
Mhm.
It's, I mean, I normally, if we had a big plan that was like, the climate action plan, like 90-something pages, right? Like,
Yeah.
some sort of something that's distilled is helpful, but this plan is like particularly succinct and straightforward. It feels easier for people to just read and make sense of, I think, without
Yeah, and I can,
otherwise.
you know, share that folks can reach out to me for questions if they have any in particular.
But
Any other questions? Old business?
So Peter is here to give a follow-up and some more discussion on the Walkworks application.
All right. So I think you have in your packets the collated responses that were not present in the map that you saw before. There's definitely a sort of categorization of themes that you see. Lots of things about walking and safety, lots of things about the CAD bus system. If you have any observations about what struck you as particularly surprising or influential to how you're thinking about the systems, I'd like to hear them. For the putting together the application for an active transportation plan, I'm putting an application together, and this has been vetted with the Environmental Advisory Committee when they met last week as well, towards a sort of pseudo safety and complete streets system study for maybe 6 routes from this radiating from the center of the city to downtown, centering around the Meadville Mall and bus stops as a terminus. So the thought that I've had is that there's only so much that $30,000 can do. If we get $30,000, the most useful thing for that money can do is to buy traffic engineering services and studies, which we won't have the capacity or qualifications to do in-house right now. So hopefully that will be a good first foray into an active transportation plan. And then I am also thinking in the future about how to leverage this as part of a strategy so that transportation planning does not stop at an active transportation plan, but it is networked into a full system of what the whole transportation network that we have really no prioritization on the books right now. Sorry, that's a clumsy way of putting it. Jim scared me with the 5 minutes, so I set a stopwatch.
You scare people.
So does that sound, do you understand? Sorry.
So the takeaway is the $30,000 would go into traffic, that's like doing a traffic study, is that correct? That's kind of
Yes,
what I.
for the studies and concepts for complete street style, which means pedestrian, cycling, wheeling, and alongside cars for 6 routes, up to 6 routes. I think I've figured out
Okay.
those 6 around downtown. There are some things that if we want to put in new or different traffic control devices, anything on the roadway, we need to justify some things through studies to PennDOT. So it's best to, I'm planning to package in those studies as well, so we don't have unjustified concepts and designs or thoughts.
Right, okay, and just to check, understand, so the $30,000 that we're hoping to get, right, if we're approved, is a planning grant, right? So that
Yes.
can't be, I think I saw questions about that show up in the event. It's not for implementation of anything, it's just for planning. And it sounds like from what you're saying, we're trying to do as much of that in-house and use the $30,000 where we have to kind of set us up for other infrastructure things, like you're saying, like traffic,
Yes.
whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
And, yeah, okay. That sounds smart. Sounds like
Did
a
you?
good idea.
Are you thinking routes? Do you have 6 routes in mind? I
Yes.
noticed there are some places
do.
that came up in the study over and over.
Yeah, I have to admit that the routes that I'm thinking of was influenced by the responses to examine the maps and select which routes based on those. I don't have those with me right now. This has been a busy week, but I'm plotting out what those routes could be. I'm trying to avoid PennDOT roads and state roads because trying to limit things to what might be most directly under our control
Right.
and our influence before throwing out ideas that might spin out of our control. Yeah.
I think that makes sense. I will say there was someone from DCNR at the event,
Mhm.
and she made it very clear that like if there's work that we want to see happen, it should be included in our plans so that we can point to it when we go for funding. And so, I wonder if there's a way we can recognize that like we included this state road thing. It's not actually in our power to do it, so we're really not like putting a plan in place to get it done, but it's part of the vision that we have for our, for transportation in our town, so that DCNR or PennDOT or whoever would, I don't know, maybe one day when they ask or
Yes.
offer money.
Yeah, I'm hoping that I can build out a justification for a larger system of incremental planning, step by step by step by step, so that those things that Ms. Wiley from DCNR said that she'd be helped with, we'll be able to put placeholders in there to acknowledge the forethought, even if we don't have the resources yet to act on that.
Right.
At least that will put evidence on paper and for potential funders and future plans that we do have a system we're working towards, and we're not doing this as a discrete effort that will just begin and end with this funding and that will exist in a vacuum. So
Sounds good.
that's, no objections to that. I'll go forward with that and present those ideas to contacts the Northwest Commission, PennDOT, the county, all of those who should be signing off on the commentary on this idea.
Sounds good. What role does our planning commission have? Is planning commission the one that would put an application together?
No, I am.
Do you have input?
Right
Okay.
now. It's, the timing is a little bit too speedy, to get it before it will bring this to the planning commission at their, March meeting, but the planning commission is not putting this together. We've reached out to Sally Guzik, Jones, who's on the planning commission, to contribute to the application draft. But otherwise, recalling that this was in the EAC's wheelhouse from the start.
And then the development of the plan will transition to the planning commission?
They can, yeah. There's a
Um,
specific requirement from WalkWorks that you have a steering committee that includes representatives from public safety, you have to have one. Public Works and their health representatives from local planning, and you can add in others, so the planning commission can be part of that steering committee.
I don't know why it's occurring to me right now. We should have invited auxiliary police, and we should talk to our auxiliary police. That's an aside, but we should talk to them in the process. You said you want our thoughts on what stands out. Do you want us to follow up with that, or
Yeah,
do
you
you
can
want
just
that
follow
here?
up with that privately.
Okay.
Like, I'm pretty confident that this is, the direction that I'm heading in is actually forming together pretty well. So even if I explain it clumsily, it's like in my mind, it's crystal.
Is it worth sending like the 6 routes to planning commission and saying, hey, we're thinking about going after a comprehensive streets plan and with these 6 routes?
Mhm.
Unless we hear from you, like this, this is the direction.
Yeah, no, I can do that. I'm writing everything as quickly as I can, so I can have it paired by the end of by the end of next week. Oh my gosh. So that way I can get all the commentary that I need.
Will we know what routes they are? Can we know now? We have to wait.
It's okay.
I don't have them prepared now.
Yeah.
Can't you?
You just know there are 6.
I'm just saying up to 6.
Okay.
When you
And
have
then-
those, you'll share them with the council.
Yes, I.
Okay, sorry, I think I was under the impression that you had 6 routes in your mind.
Yeah. In my.
That you were
And then.
hiding
again-
from us for some reason.
Yeah.
I'm not
You're
hiding.
just being cagey with.
No, I just wasn't able to map them out and get Nathan to print a pretty map like before, and it's a mess. Also, once I get everything on paper, I might have to revise those downwards. Like, that's in my mind, $5,000 per,
Planning for each route.
per route. 6, that's your 30,000. I might have to revise that downwards based on our dollar limit and given what our grants administrator and Sally might say about what the reasonable cost is. So that was just a convenient. That's.
Smoke Bridge came up. Is that a Smoke Bridge we own now? How does that work?
It's a PennDOT bridge.
So, okay, so because that's the thing that stood out, is Smoke Bridge.
Yeah.
The
A lot of people talk about smog.
The terror of smoke, yeah. Is
The
there
terror
anything we
of
can-
smog.
Is there anything we can do to get that?
Petition PennDOT.
We've had
It's okay.
discussions
Yeah.
with PennDOT about trying to figure out something to do specifically with the sidewalk, and
Yeah.
there's more conversations in relating to plowing, but they're not really open. It was more recently done than some other bridges in the county, so they're not really open to.
Putting a fence or something so you don't feel
Yeah,
like you're gonna fall
We
into
have had those discussions,
Yeah.
trying to get them to do it, but nothing at this time has moved
Yeah.
it forward.
the land, so the land underneath, is that the city of Meadville? Vernon, like where Ernst is and that, there's that,
It does split municipalities, which is why there's multi-municipalities that help to take care of the bridge.
yeah.
But as far as the physical bridge structure, that's owned strictly by PennDOT.
Yeah. Yeah, like that idea of a walk bridge underneath there somehow is kind of a good idea. Like, I would use that to get, unless that connector works that they're gonna do, I don't know, yeah.
Speaking of bridges, how are we doing on the Grove Street Bridge?
We still haven't had it on any further than talking with the Northwest Commission about getting it on the tip.
Okay.
That's about as far. They fixed any of the deficiencies that were more aesthetic. But again, the bridge reports come back that it's safe. It's just some aesthetic issues.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? New business?
None.
Public comment on non-agenda items.
None.
Council member statements. Jim, we'll start with you.
I'll keep it brief, thank you. Yeah, the sewer authority kindly sent out a letter and photographs to the city, and members of council, I believe, have those, detailing how they're coming along with sewer plant construction. This is particularly challenging because unlike the last time, we had 2 separate plants and you just built one and then put it in service. The challenge now is to keep the plant in service while tearing down and building the new facility. So I appreciate the update from them.
Rich?
Yeah, that was good to get the updates, thanks, Marianne. I also, the Vision 2024, they had a little blurb about Patty DeWalt again at the Sewer Authority and her award. I just want to call that out, because that was amazing that she received that. What is it, the Laboratory Excellence Award. Also in the paper, just a reminder that it's the Mark's 50th anniversary again. I like you can tell I'm pushing the mark. Go Mark. We have some exciting things hopefully planned, so also that's great. We did that, the Urban Development Advisors came in and interviewed a lot of people about like possibilities for redevelopment and revitalization for Meadville. And there's a meeting at Active Aging next Thursday, the 29th at 7:30 p.m. and I hope the public comes. I really enjoyed the interview process. I actually learned a lot by going to the interviews.
I think it's at 6.
Is it at 6?
6 to 7:30.
I took it off of an email that Andy sent, so it's 6 to 7:30.
I think it's 6 to 7.
Thanks, Autumn. Yeah, don't show up at 7:30, it'll be over. Yeah, thanks to, to everybody, Andy Walker, for putting that together. Hopefully, people will show up. They are definitely open to everyone's ideas and visions, so. That's it.
Yeah, not much on the meeting. Tomorrow's the Beloved Community event, Wednesday night. There's also a library book club potluck partnership with the new French Creek Arts Collective. I just got my library book on the way down here. Pretty excited to make it from that. No, but there's great stuff going on. Beloved Community was on the cover of the paper today, so you folks could see the details about that and check out what's going on in town. And there's a ton of great stuff going on at the library now too. There's a session next Monday on green burial, which is now available at Greendale, and that was an exciting thing. Working with some folks to get the Mark Garden up and running again for the spring season. So if folks are interested in a plot, I don't know where for now, I guess you could let me know, but we'll get you information. The 4x8 plots that are available for rent for the summer season. And yeah, looking at kind of long-term sustainable solutions for management of the garden, which is a very beautiful space and a wonderful asset that we've got. Yeah, I think that it's the last weekend to see Anastasia at the Academy Theater. It's actually very good, and it's not a children's show. The Spotlight from from House Left is really good. And there's a really great ticket seller, actually two, Daniel's one as well. So we're heavily represented. It's great. And I don't know if our junior council.
Yeah, I was going to see. Anything you'd like to say?
I don't think today. Thank you though.
Okay.
I'd like to say thank you to those of us who went to the Walkworks thing on, what was that? Last Tuesday? Yeah. So, yeah. Please come join more things, do things, get involved. Especially Agatha, Tatum, and I's generation. It's good to see us young people out there. Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to first again thank you guys for volunteering to be on the committee. It really says a lot, and thank you for encouraging your friends to come. The library front doors are back open again. They did a really great job on remodeling, and as I was saying with Autumn earlier, it's just amazing. If you haven't been to the library to find out what all it does, it's not just about books. There's a lot of different agencies that their workers use to bring their clients there to play games, spend time, and be in the community. And it's something that a lot of us may take for granted because we're there, but to watch and see how they interact in the community, it's very interesting. So yeah, come have lunch down there with us, check it out. There's books and things to sell. There's kids hour at 10 o'clock on Wednesdays. There's a lot more going on at the public library than you might expect. So come check us out, and I'd just like to say thank you for everyone. Peter, again, for what you're doing with your reports, and you guys. I'm seeing a lot of progress, and I'm proud of you guys, to be honest. Proud to be a part of this council. So if there's nothing else, we'll make a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
I'll second.
Roll call.
McKnight,
Aye.
Myers,
Aye.
Roa,
Aye.
Vogel.
Hi.
That was easy.